oneself. Today we are going to do Nidhi Dhyasan, profound Vedantic meditation on chapter 23rd of Ribhu Gita, Jnanamrit Manomay Prakaran Varanam, description of the topic of the nectar of knowledge and all being full of the mind. Nectar of the knowledge, Jnanamrit, and all being full of the mind. All here means the phenomenal world, the world of names and forms as we perceive is nothing but imagination or projection of the mind, and in reality, in ultimate reality, the truth is of the nature of Jnanamrit, Chidananda, nectar of knowledge. The ultimate reality, the supreme truth, the one non-dual, indivisible truth known as Brahman or Paramatman is always of the nature of Jnanamrit, nectar of knowledge, bliss of knowledge, blissful consciousness. That blissful consciousness alone is your innermost self, your intimate reality, the ultimate and innermost core of your existence is nothing but of the nature of nectar of knowledge, blissful consciousness. That's why in Vedas the supreme reality is called as Satchidananda. The nameless, formless, attributeless Brahman, the supreme truth or Paramatman, is known as Satchidananda, existence absolute, consciousness absolute, and bliss absolute. Absolute means unconditioned, unfettered, self-existing, not conditioned by anything below or above. That which is sovereign power, self-existing reality, that is, and that one is Satchit Ananda. So let's try to meditate today on this. We are nothing but Satchidananda, the eternal existence that is always of the nature of blissful consciousness. That I am, that you are. Satchidanandoham, Satchidanandoham, Soham, Soham, Satchidanandoham, 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 Soham, Soham, Satchidanandoham. Ribhu, I shall now speak about existence, consciousness, supreme bliss, naturally ever full of happiness. The truth is always ever full of happiness. Your true self is ever full of nectar and bliss, never, never lacking happiness. It's intrinsic, inherent, and natural to your true self, that is Satchidananda, the Brahman, the Paramatman, which is of the nature of blissful consciousness. Know this, contemplate on this, and practice Nididhyasana, profound meditation on this. The blissful consciousness within ever radiating, self-effulgent, self-illumined reality, the source, substance, and substratum of every single of my experiences and that of the entire universe. It is itself the essence of all Vedas and Puranas. Satchidananda is the essence of all essences contained in all Vedas, Vedanta, Upanishads, and Puranas. All Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads are nothing but exposition, elaboration on the term Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Existence, consciousness, bliss is essence of all essences. This alone is the subject matter of all Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, and all the Puranas. One subject matter of all the secret scriptures is Satchidananda, Satchidanandoham. Tattvamasi, you are that only. You are always Satchidananda. You are always eternal existence, pure consciousness, and everlasting bliss. Meditate on this. Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham. There is no difference, duality, or pairs of opposites. There is nothing different or devoid of differences. All is indeed is the Supreme Brahman, unaffected by anything, any external forces or factors. It is to be reached by knowledge. By knowledge alone you can reach Brahman. Reach means experience. Know that Brahman by knowledge alone. There is never anything as I, there is nothing else. There indeed is nothing decayless and no highest of the high. All this indeed is the unaffected Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman. It is to be reached by knowledge. By knowledge alone you can reach, you can experience, you can understand the Supreme Brahman. What knowledge? Knowledge of the books? Knowledge of the Vedas? No, the intimate, direct, intuitive, personal, immediate experience of the self. That experience, that knowledge, that knowing within, when the consciousness knows nothing but consciousness alone, that is Vijnanam, not Jnanam. When he is referring to the knowledge of Brahman, the Brahman could be known by knowledge. He is referring in the sense of Vijnanam, not Jnanam. Jnana is secondary knowledge. Knowledge is secondary. Vijnanam, that is primary, personal, intimate, immediate. So Brahman, the supreme reality, could be experienced, could be realized, could be known only through Vijnanam, that is your own personal self-realization, personal, intuitive, immediate, intimate experience alone reveals in the true nature, in true essence, in true reality, the nature of Supreme Brahman, that is what he is indicating, and that Brahman is known and experienced and realized first by listening about its nature, the methodology to know it about. Then reflecting on the statements of the Upanishads and thereafter contemplating, reflecting, and then practicing meditation, profound Vedantic meditation for abiding in that supreme reality revealed through the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads, the great statements, the aphorisms of the Upanishads alone take you to that Vijnanam, the supreme science through which you experience for yourself the supreme reality, the supreme Brahman. That is what Sage who is telling. There is no existence, no renunciation, no word, no defective meaning of words. All this is indeed the unaffected supreme Brahman. It is to be reached by the knowledge. All the objects or beings we perceive or experience in the phenomenal world are in essence non-existence. They are not existing in reality. Their essence is Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman only. As in the, that's why who is saying that there is no effect. The Parabrahman is never affected, even if, as in the dream state, you see that you are the same person lying on bed and dreaming, and you see that you are being chased by a tiger or you are drowning. You suffer mentally during the dream state, or somebody is beating you, attacking you. But it's all illusory dream. You yourself in your true nature are just lying blissfully on the bed. You are sleeping. In the dream state, it's a mental illusion. Even so, the Brahman ever pure, ever unaffected, not contaminated or attached or tainted by anything, anyone, any force. Therefore, even in this so-called phenomenal universe, you see so much of sorrow, suffering, tragedy. These days, so much of corona deaths and corona pandemic. The specter of COVID-19 has created such a specter of terror, death, naked death of dance. But it's all mental illusion in essence. The true nature of yours and mine and everyone, and that is only one reality, that is Brahman. There is no effect or effect in that pure consciousness, the blissful consciousness, that is Brahman. It's ever unattached, ever unaffected, as in the case of ether sky. For some time it appears that the clouds or the cloud of dust have covered and the sky, empty sky, vast sky has got contaminated. But sooner it is blown away, and the sky was even in that situation never tainted. Similarly, the pure, you are always, even if you in this physical universe you feel so depressed, suffering, fearful, in essence, in your true nature, the true self, you are never affected by anything else, because you are absolute existence of the nature of blissful consciousness, of the nature of nectar of knowledge. You are always. Reflect on this, go within yourself and meditate on this, that I am Satchidananda. Satchidanandoham, Satchidanandoham, Soham, 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 Soham. I am always of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. I am that Supreme Brahman of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. I am Supreme Brahman always. Meditate on this. There is no meaning of the word I or for the word that. No senses, no objects, no doubt, nothing trivial, no certainty, no action to be completed. These are all illusory. The entire world of duality in the phenomenal world is mental projection, illusion, dreamlike. Therefore, in reality, nothing exists ever other than the Supreme Brahman, other than the absolute existence, pure consciousness, and infinite bliss. That is Brahman, that is Paramatman, that you are, that I am, that the entire universe is. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Sohamasmi. The entire universe is verily Brahman, and I too am nothing but Brahman alone. Tattvam Asi. And you too are that supreme truth alone. You are never anything but Brahman. Satchidananda. Tattvam Asi. Tattvam Asi. Contemplate on this and abide in this supreme reality, supremely blissful nature of yourself. There is no experience of the deep sleep state, no fourth state, and no Brahmin or Kshatriya or highly learned. All this is indeed the supreme Brahman, the afflictionless nectar of knowledge. Nishpap, Nishkalank, Nirmal Brahman alone, the taintless and pure, chaste Brahman alone, the nectar of knowledge alone, the blissful consciousness, Chidananda. You are always Chidananda. I am always Chidananda, and the entire universe is nothing but Chidananda. The blissful consciousness alone is Brahman. The blissful consciousness alone is the ultimate reality. Blissful consciousness alone is source, substance, and substratum of everything. Every being, every single object or being in the universe and in the infinity of the universes. Blissful consciousness is your true self. Realize your true self by listening to these aphorisms and reflecting, contemplating on them, and thereafter practicing profound Vedantic meditation, nididhyasanas, so that you get absorbed in this reality which ushers you in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is then the one-pointed absorption on the blissful consciousness. The mental modifications come to an end and you are ever blissfully abiding. Abiding means being exclusively conscious of blissful consciousness alone. Nirvikalpa Samadhi doesn't mean anything else. There is nothing magic, but this alone is the secret of all the secrets, that greatest magic. Once you abide in this pure consciousness, when the mind is free from the thoughts, compulsive chain of thoughts, then you realize the wonder of the wonders you are. The nectarine bliss you experience during that state, when the mind is absolutely free from the compulsive chain of thoughts, then you are then and there experiencing the Brahmananda, the bliss of the Brahman. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. There is no perceiver, no perception, no object of perception, and no appearance of results. All this indeed is the Supreme Brahman, the afflictionless nectar of knowledge. This entire chapter is essentially what trying to suggest is that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. the Brahman alone, the Satchidananda alone, the truth of the nature of consciousness, existence and bliss alone is the reality, and anything else as it appears with the adjuncts of name, form and attributes is just appearance or modification of that Brahman alone. There is never anything other than the Brahman. The entire universe is verily Brahman. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma tattvam asi. You too are nothing but that Supreme Brahman, that Satchidananda alone is this entire universe, and you too are nothing but Satchidananda Paramatmana Tattvam Asi. You too are the Supreme Truth always, but due to ignorance about your true nature, you are suffering, you are sorrowful, you are in the grip of fear of death and disease and infection by coronavirus. It's all illusory, imaginary. In your true self, there is neither birth nor death. You are birthless and deathless truth. You are infectionless and diseaseless supreme truth of the nature of nectar of knowledge, blissful consciousness. Chidananda you are, Chidananda I am. This entire universe is nothing but Chidananda. Meditate on this, contemplate on this, practice Nidhi Dhyasana on this. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. You are embodiment of all the bliss, all the love, all the beauty that could be imagined or experienced or known. You are the source, substance and substratum of all bliss, beauty and love. Unconditional love you are in your true self. Self of the nature of pure consciousness, ever abiding. Every single cell of your body is being illumined by that blissful consciousness alone. Whenever you enjoy some sensual pleasure, essentially it creates an illusion that the sense object is the source of your sensual pleasure. The reality that you, the blissful consciousness alone, are the seat, center, source, substance and substratum of every single pleasure or even sensual pleasure. Every iota of love, feeling of love, experience of love or experience or enjoyment of beauty is nothing but a ray or a manifestation or modification of that eternal, immortal, absolute blissful consciousness. That is Atman, that Atman you are, that Brahman you are. Know this for sure, contemplate on this, meditate on this and become free from all death, birth, sorrow and suffering and fear. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. There is no inquiry into all modes, no release from all modes, no culmination of the destruction of all modes, no voiding of the all modes. No universe, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, the Jagat, the phenomenal universe in reality never exists. As in the case of a mirage in the desert, the river of water that appears to exist, it never exists. The palaces or city in the sky, Gandharva Loka, it never exists during the monsoon rainy season. The Gandharva Loka is ever imaginary. Even so, the entire phenomenal universe is imaginary. As in the case of nacre, which gives an illusion of being silver, in reality, that seashell or nacre, in reality, nothing but seashell, nacre, and never silver. Even so, this entire universe, as it appears of the beings or objects of names, forms, and attributes, is nothing but nameless, formless, attributeless, non-dual one Brahman of the nature of absolute existence, absolute consciousness, and absolute bliss. That absolute reality you are, and that absolute reality alone is the ultimate reality of the universe. It's my truth, it's your truth, it's everyone else's truth. There is no higher truth, there is no superior truth. That supreme reality is known as Brahman, the Paramatman, which and who is ever present within the cavity of your heart, means ever present and can be experienced intuitively in your intellect, inner equipments, inner instruments, antahkarana, because your mind, intellect, ego, and memory is ever being illumined by nothing but pure consciousness, the blissful consciousness alone. When you enjoy sense objects, the blissful consciousness alone modifies and appears as the enjoyment of the particular sense object. There is nothing in the lover and beloved of the external world or any object of enjoyment you think that it is the source of enjoyment or sensual pleasure. Essentially, the essence of that sense, even the sensual pleasure, the substance of stratum and source, is ever present within you in infinite measure. That Brahman you are. The only thing that you are unaware about that supreme reality. Therefore, as indicated and explained by the graceful Brahman realized Guru, the Sadguru, the self-realized master, through the help of the Mahavakyas, great aphorisms of the Upanishads, take the help of those aphorisms. Aham Brahmasmi, Soham Tattvam Asi, Ayamatma Brahma, Pragyanam Brahma, and contemplate and reflect the true essence, the true meaning of those aphorisms, and then thereafter the real meaning lies ever within you. The true purport and essence of all Mahavakyas, every Upanishad, every Vedanta treatise, and all the Puranas and Vedas, you are. You alone in your true nature are the subject matter of. Don't think that Brahman is a separate, distinct, external reality. No, never, never. The Brahman is ever the most intimate and innermost reality of yourself. Therefore, knowing Brahman is in essence knowing yourself. And becoming Brahman or attaining Brahman or realizing Supreme Self means just becoming Brahman. The knowing Brahman means becoming Brahman, because Brahman is not an object of gross object. It's knowledge, blissful knowledge, the nectar of knowledge alone is the supreme reality. And by that knowledge you realize that you always were nothing but Paramatman, the Brahman. That entire universe too is nothing but Brahman alone. All relatives, all friends, everyone is nothing but Brahman alone. Whoever is devoid of the knowledge of the self is indeed a great sinner. Very profound statement. There is no sin in the world in essence other than our ignorance about our true nature, because that alone is the root of all sins. All the sin we commit in this world is because of our ignorance about our true nature, because every sin is committed with a desire to fulfill an objective to fulfill some desire, unfulfilled desire. Every sin you perpetrate, every crime you perpetrate is with some objective of some fulfillment of some desire, either sensual or whatever, for the money, wealth, power, pelf, whatever. And this is because of our ignorance of our true nature. Our true nature is ever perfect, ever fulsome reality, ever wholesome reality. It never lacks anything. It never is or could be deprived of. It's ever bursting and bubbling with essence and nectar of joy, bliss, and beauty. So every sin or crime that is perpetrated or committed by you is because of the ignorance of the knowledge, ignorance of the self. That is why, says Ribhu is saying that whoever is devoid of the knowledge of the self is indeed a great sinner, because this lack of knowledge of the self alone is the root cause of all sins and misdeeds and crimes. So you want to be free from all sins or crimes or vices or misdeeds, just know yourself. That alone is the panacea for all ills, woes, afflictions, fears, and sins. Every single sin is committed due to ignorance of our true nature. That is why know this one truth, that there is no sin other than ignorance about your true self, and there is no real virtue or spiritual sadhana other than knowing your true self. There is no holy bath, there is no sacred scripture, there is no yagna other than the yagna or holy bath or holy ablution of the self-realization. Self-realization is the ultimate yagna. Self-realization is the ultimate and crowning glory of every single religious or spiritual endeavor or practice. Everything in the realm of metaphysics, religious philosophy, and spirituality is aimed at knowing your true self, the self within. The kingdom of God, the empire of self is ever present within you, not outside you. The God outside you, the Brahman outside you is a mental imagination. The Brahman, the infinite absolute reality of the nature of Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, is your innermost reality. It is smallest of the smallest. It is smaller than the smallest and greater than the greatest, because it is not a gross object. It's embodiment of knowledge. Pragyanam Brahma, consciousness alone is Brahman. Reflect on these revelations of Vibhu Gita and contemplate and meditate. Profound Vedantic meditation is to be practiced on one truth. Satchidanandoham, Satchidanandoham, Soham, 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 Soham. I am existence, consciousness, bliss. I am always that. I am that. Tattvam Asi. You too are that alone. You are that alone. This entire universe, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, this entire phenomenal universe too is nothing but that Brahman. Therefore, I, you, and the universe in essence are one and the same reality of the nature of existence, consciousness, and bliss. Abide in this truth and become free from all ignorance, all fear, because all fear, sorrow, or desire or bundle of desires have existence only in the illusion. Illusion, that is the ignorance about your true reality, your supreme truth, the Atman within. That is the supreme objective of all spiritual practices and sadhanas. All this indeed is Supreme Brahman, the nectar of knowledge filling the mind. Whoever hears this explanation is Brahman indeed. Whoever hears this explanation is Brahman indeed. Because since there is nothing other than the Brahman, but because of the illusion and ignorance about our true nature, we think that Brahman is a mystical reality of some other world. We never go deep within. Therefore, even when you are listening to these statements, you are Brahman because I am explaining and giving exposition on the Mahavakya. So right now you are Brahman. If you understand, you are a true seeker, your mind is pure. Right now, that is what he is trying to suggest. In essence, of course, the speaker is Brahman, the listener is Brahman, and the entire world of phenomenal world, the 5 motor organs and 5 sensory organs. There is nothing, and all the objects of 5 sense organs are nothing but Brahman alone. That one Brahman alone is the supreme goal. That supreme Brahman you are, that supreme Brahman I am. That supreme Brahman is the greatest miracle. All the miracles are hidden in your true self. Because every single desire of yours is fulfilled only and only when you realize your true self, when you, for yourself, through intimate, direct, personal, intuitive, and immediate experience, know for sure that the pure consciousness, the blissful consciousness, the nectar of knowledge within, which appears as the phenomenal pleasures and phenomenal joys, is ever of perfect and fulsome and wholesome reality. You never like anything because you are Satchidananda, you are absolute reality. You are ever of the nature of blissful consciousness. Contemplate on this, practice Nididhyasana on this with utmost sincerity and purity of heart. Become free from all the desires, cravings, expectations, because all desires and cravings and expectations are arising out of the ignorance of your true self, your true nature. By knowing your true self, that you are always fulsome and wholesome reality, every single desire of yours is fulfilled immediately, because you alone are all by all yourself, because you are Brahman, you are Paramatman, Tattvam Asi. Therefore, the objective of human life is to ensure cessation of all sorrows, permanent cessation of all sorrows, sufferings, and fears, and permanent attainment of your blissful true self. Because bliss is intrinsic and inherent to you. Attainment, availability of bliss is so natural. So, That is what we are doing. We are running away from there. Every single being is doing nothing, but we try to run away from sorrow, suffering, fear, and running towards bliss. And that is ever available to you. That only reality, that Sachidananda or Atman or Brahman or Paramatman, it is ever free from all sorrows, sufferings, and ever full of nectar of knowledge, nectar of bliss, unconditional love, infinite, everlasting beauty it is, and infinite ocean of bliss it is. Therefore, by attaining one, you end up attaining all. By knowing one, you end up knowing all. And by being one, you become everything. That is, you become almighty, because in your true self, you are always almighty, omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent reality you are, because Tattvam Asi, that you are, realize it and become free from all the sorrows, sufferings, fears, death, and birth, and ever absorbed into blissful consciousness. Infinite ocean of love, bliss, and beauty is intrinsic and natural to you, unless and until you realize your true self. The entire riches of the physical universe, the entire wealth of the physical universe, all the sensual pleasures of the universe are not going to bring that supreme happiness, ultimate satisfaction that you are seeking, and supreme fearlessness that comes only by knowing your true nature. Therefore, listen to this supreme truth, reflect and contemplate every moment, and then practice Nididhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation on Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel Veda Vedanta Mission.